What's going on, y'all? Bulletproof Blambo back with another video. UFC Qatar is tomorrow. We got Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. That's a banger fight. Got to be excited for that one. But we also have Ian Garry versus Belal Muhammad in the co-main event. But y'all know what the real question is here, right? Who has the real skills? Who has the skills to win these explosive fights? We about to find out right now.
Take them to the moon, to the fucking thing. I'm riding through New York, finna go and shoot New Jersey up. Tryna take my chain, I ain't going. We gon' come and blow New Jersey up. You want something? Hurry up. Try to rob, bitch, we 30'd up. Just left volcanoes, bitch, I'm curried up. Cheese in my pockets, velvet up. Hey, I'm a gorilla.
Man, UFC Qatar is underway tomorrow. I'm super excited for this fight. UFC did their thing with this card, man. I can't lie. I ain't gonna lie. This is a sleeper card. You know, it's definitely not one of the better cards we've got this year, but we've got some stars on there. Let's start off with the co-main event. We've got Ian Garry versus Belal Muhammad. Trash talker number 1 versus trash talker number 2. Or you could put Kobe in there and mismatch them however, which way you want to, in no particular order. But man, I feel bad for Belal Muhammad, man. He just keeps getting bad matchups, you know, and most of the bad matchups that he gets, you know, he finds a way to incorporate his grappling and wrestling. But I just think this fight's going to be way different, bro. I think it's going to be way different. You know, when he fought Sean Brady's slow. You know, Sean Brady is arguably the slowest guy in the welterweight top 15. You know, actually, he is the slowest guy, slowest fighter in the welterweight top 15. And Belal Muhammad comes in a close second. But, you know, nonetheless, Belal Muhammad is a plotter. You know, so unless he can get his hands on Ian Garry, which I don't think he's going to land clean on Ian Garry. I really don't. But unless he gets his hands on Ian Garry, he is screwed. I think Ian Garry is just going to play the long game. A lot of teeps, a lot of leg kicks. We know he loves to spam leg kicks. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But I think he's just going to play the long guard game. Keep him on the outside, tag him, keep tagging him. Ian Garry's he's too fast for Belal. I don't think Belal has faced anyone quite as fast and as quick as Ian Garry. Ian Garry he's tall and he's long. He's a big welterweight, but you know, he's deceptively fast. He's deceptively quick. I think if Ian Garry can put it on him enough, touch him enough times with that jab, that straight, he can get him out of there. Late second round, early third round, TKO for Ian Garry. That's my prediction. And, you know, that's the thing about Belal, man. Phenomenal grappler, phenomenal wrestler. But I think we saw in the JDM fight how exactly you can beat Belal Muhammad. Like, we have a blueprint now for how to beat Belal Muhammad, which is to keep him away from your hips and keep it long. And that is what Ian Garry specializes in, is just touching you, staying on the outside. And now we kind of have a blueprint on how to avoid the Belal Muhammad takedown. Just keep him away from your hips, keep it long. If Ian Garry can do that, and most fighters in the welterweight division, I think, could beat Belal Muhammad if they knew how to stuff his takedowns and just throw a quick 1-2. I mean, dude, you could beat Belal Muhammad with that game plan. You know what I'm saying? Because he's so slow. He's a plotter, man. But yeah, that's my prediction for the co-main event. Ian Garry by KO TKO. Late second round, early third round. And next, we have the main event. Tsarukyan versus Psycho Dan Hooker. Man, this is going to be a great fight, man. I really do think it's going to be a great fight. And it's kind of giving me Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane vibes. Just in the sense that, you know, everyone was looking at Tom Aspinall to see what he could do to Tsarukyan after what John Jones did to Tsarukyan, right? And it's kind of the same situation here. Everyone's looking at Arman Tsarukyan to see what he's going to do to Dan Hooker after what Islam Makhachev did to Dan Hooker. And I think this fight will tell us a lot, because Islam took him down early in the fight. You know, what was it, round 1 submission by Kimura? I'm not saying that Arman Tsarukyan has to go out there and do exactly what Islam Makhachev did, obviously. But I am looking for a convincing win. I think we all are. You know, Dan Hooker is, you know, he's a little bit, I wouldn't say over the hill, because he's on a little streak right now. You know, but most fighters that Dan Hooker does well against, they're strikers. You know, Jalen Hooker, striker. When he did well against Dustin Poirier, striker. You know, Gamrot's striking is terrible. And Gamrot almost beat Dan Hooker. You know, and Gamrot is a really, really good fighter. Don't get me wrong. But I think Gamrot would have won that fight had he not let Dan Hooker steal that 3rd round from him. You know, he's just walking him down, eating shots. You can't do that. You know, but I don't think Arman Tsarukyan is going to do that. I really don't. You know, I just hope that, you know, Arman Tsarukyan doesn't fall into this whole, because that's what's happened with the main event, right? Belal Muhammad it seems like the whole hype and the whole theme of this fight has been, with the co-main event, has been, can Belal Muhammad stand with Dan Hooker? It's like, bro, no one here is expecting you to stand with Dan Hooker. Stop listening to Ian Gary. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about how he's going to stand up and strike with him. Don't do that, bro. But I feel like Belal Muhammad is one of those fighters where he's going to, you know, fall into that trap, you know? So it's like if Arman Tsarukyan falls into that trap with Dan Hooker, I think it's going to be a way different fight than what people expect. You know, Dan Hooker is one of those barn burner type of fighters. You know, if you go into deep waters with Dan Hooker and you have a sink or swim contest, there's a good chance he's going to come out and you won't. You know what I'm saying? So Arman Tsarukyan, I think if he sticks to what he's good at, grappling, wrestling, and that's the thing that I'm excited about with this fight too, especially after UFC 322 with that wet blanket fest in the co-main and main event. That's all I can really say about that. It was terrible. But with Arman, he has really good ground and pound. And I think that's something that we could look forward to if he does start taking him down repetitively over and over. So he has pretty good ground and pounds. So that it should be interesting to see how Dan Hooker maneuvers and how he can escape that ground and pound. You know, we didn't really get to see too much of it. We didn't really get to see too much of Arman Tsarukyan's ground and pound capabilities against Charles Oliveira because, you know, Charles Oliveira is, you know, it's just a testament to how good his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is off his back. But Dan Hooker is nowhere near the level of Charles Oliveira. So I think if he gets taken down, he's in a world of hurt, man. I really do. You know, I think Arman Tsarukyan has the power advantage. He has the physicality advantage. You know, I think he's a flexible fighter. You see him with those crazy kicks coming down, you know, the axe kicks, putting his freaking hamstring behind his head. Just crazy stuff, man. But, dude, it's like, if he doesn't stick to his game plan, right, which I know that his game plan is, it has to be wrestling and grappling, right? I mean, that's his bread and butter. He doesn't stick to that, and he starts doing this bumper car, you know, fighting with Dan Hooker. I think we're looking at an upset here. But if not, I think it should be a landslide for Arman Tsarukyan. I just don't think Dan Hooker has the skills. He doesn't have enough in his bag. Arman Tsarukyan is a way more versatile fighter. He's a better all-around fighter. And, you know, I think we're all fans of Dan Hooker, more so than Arman Tsarukyan, especially after that headbutt. What was that headbutt all about at the presser or the face-off? I mean, dude, like, come on, have some more professionalism. Like, what are you, that headbutt guy off Spider-Man, just running around headbutting through walls? And, like, no, bro. You know what I'm saying? As soon as he headbutted me, if I was Dan Hooker, I would have rolled back, thrown a switch kick straight to the chin. I don't care, bro. That's just unacceptable. He's definitely going to get fined for that. But Fortunately for him, I don't think Dana White cares too much about all that. You know, as he always says, whenever there's a fight that breaks out in the stands, like what happened with John Pork or Jonko at UFC 322, what does Dana White always say? Oh, you know, that's what happens. That's the fight game. That's the fight business. It's like, bro, all right, we get it. You like that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get fined, but he probably will. But, you know, it was just a stupid decision by a stupid fighter in Arman Tsarukyan. Luckily for him, he's a pretty good fighter. But yeah, if I had to put my prediction down on this fight, it would definitely be, you know, I'm predicting like a club and sub, maybe late round 3, round 4. I'm going to go with round 4. I think if Arman Tsarukyan can hurt Dan Hooker enough, you know, Dan Hooker will go down for sure. I think if you can hurt him enough, put him in a bad position to where Dan Hooker's too tired, we can't get out of it, you know, we're looking at a late round 4 stoppage. Probably by submission. We've been seeing Arman Tsarukyan working with Chimaev. We've been seeing Arman Tsarukyan working on his grappling. I think this is the perfect opportunity for him to pull all that stuff out of his bag. So yeah, it should be an interesting fight, man. I'm excited for it. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, comment down below. Also, tell me what fight you're looking forward to most on this card, UFC Qatar. But yeah, man, it should be a fun card. I'm excited to watch it. I hope you guys are too. And yeah. And as always, stay positive, stay motivated, stay inspired.